but welcome everyone to October's engineering workshop. This specific workshop is going to be around the new License Center in the new UX. The next couple workshops, if you've talked to your CSM, are specifically around the new UX and getting you guys more comfortable in that, because that's where we're going for 2023. So today I'm going to introduce Mike Carroll. He is a professional services architect here at CoreView, and he's going to walk you through our new License Center and how that works. If you guys have any questions during the call, please don't hesitate to raise your hand or post it in the chat, and I will moderate and make sure that Mike answers all your guys' questions. Thanks. Mike, I'm going to pass it to you.
No pressure. I have to answer all the questions. I'm not sure that's fair. All right. Nice to meet everybody. As Alexandria said, I have responsibility for the solution architect team here at CoreView. And actually, let me bring up my slides first. Let's see, put this in slideshow mode. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is what we're calling the License Center. And it's really a collection of reports that have all been previously listed out underneath the licenses area. Not that much has changed, to be honest. Some things are grouped together to make it a little bit more concise when you're in the application. But there are a few subtle things that I'll point out here and there, just so you are acclimated to where things are. My artistic talents are a bit limited, so I actually put something together so you can actually see which reports are combined into which center. So rudimentary as it is, at least it will give you some idea of what we're talking about here. So first of all, let's talk about, let's see here. Let me get out of this and let's go take a look at the new interface. Okay, so this is the new UX. When you come into your application in CoreView, you're going to see up here in this upper left-hand corner a button that you can switch from the old UX to the new UX. I'm not sure how long that's going to still be there before everything defaults to the new UX. Do you know that, Alexandria? Not anytime imminent, right?
Nope, it will not be till early December.
Okay, but it gives you a chance to flip over. You will have to use same credentials. You will have to log in again because it's technically a different app on our side. But just so you know that's somewhere where you can flip that button and go into the new user interface and start to look at things. What we're going to talk about here, you've got your favorites reports, you've got your dashboards, you've got your collections of reports here, and you see we've shrunk this down somewhat to be in the individual collections of reports. So if we look at licenses, this is going to be this is what we're calling the License Center. And so we're going to just walk through each one of these individually. So this License Pool Center basically is going to be these three reports are now, good grief, sorry about that. I am a professional. This license pool, the license pool snapshots, and the license pool summary, all of those are combined into this, what we're calling the License Pool Center. If we take a peek here and go into the License Pool Center, we've got license pools run here. So just how you can see there's multiple tabs here. So instead of having different reports listed out, you're going to have the reports as tabs underneath the License Center. If we look at pools, one thing that's different is you will notice that you can filter. Right now it's organized by the license pools, but you will have the ability to flip it and look at it by the SKUs themselves. Okay, so you can flip that either way looking at the report here. There is this concept of advanced filter, and this is somewhat kind of taking us down the path of the license optimization report. But you'll notice this lets you come in and pick and choose the SKUs that you would want to include in the reporting that you're looking at. So that's what advanced filters is your ability to go in and remove or add SKUs to the view that you're looking at. When we talk about managing the allocations, this is the old area where you would go in through and it's actually going to step you through a process. You notice there's a step down here at the bottom. So once you've selected the particular pool that you wanted to adjust, you walk through the steps and it will take you, all the way down the path to make those corrections and see what you need to do to change those allocations. Again, similar process, just slightly in a slightly different place. You've got the ability to schedule this just like all. And so if we slide across each one of these reports, would be your license pools. Again, you can organize it by pool or by license. If we look at the license cost report, this is, this is actually giving you that view of the pools with the associated costs. Again, if you need to change the cost allocation or the premium that you're putting around your license pools. That's what this managed costs will do. We'll let you add in the premium that you want to put on top of what we see in the subscription side of the product. So that you, again, that's where you do that managed cost, and you would actually just step right through that process as well. Being an old accountant, I'm a big fan of the snapshots. It's always been a source of frustration for me with respect to CoreView that it didn't recognize months and quarters and so on and so forth. A day is a day, and the 31st doesn't mean any different than the first of the next month. When you're trying to do things like license pools and generate cost reports, well, the accounting department needs to see that on a monthly basis. And so now there's a couple of places you'll see as we go through here where we're actually starting to capture these snapshots on a regular basis. Right now they're monthly, but we are, in some other cases, we're moving to more of a weekly snapshot. But this snapshot report just lets you compare two different months. So for example, if I want to look and see if things progressed between these 2 months, I can apply that and then see how things might have changed over that particular context. So this, again, is a very important piece of what we're doing here. The snapshots, again, recognizing that, an actual calendar month so that we can actually start to do some of these comparisons as we walk through things. Any questions on the license pool center or the reporting that we're doing here? All of this make sense? Any questions? I'll take silence as golden. Yeah. Okay. We'll slide down to the next one. That is the apps, the 365 App Center report. Again, same concept. If I slide back here to here's the 4 different reports that we have combined into this one area. So software licenses, installations, active users, and apps usage. All listed out across the top here. One thing I do want to show you here is where pivot mode is now. It's not buried over on the right-hand side with the schedules. Pivot mode pops up right here, front and center. And here is your, the columns area. Here's the columns that you can go out and grab for any particular report. It's all listed right here up front and center on the report itself. These reports individually aren't any different than the previous reports. They're just organized differently so that when you're looking at your installations, you're looking at your licenses, your apps usage, and so forth. All of that stuff is the same as the previous reports, but we do have the ability down here. You'll see that if software licenses, we can show you both the activations and the users. Same with the old report. Apps usage, same thing, apps and platforms. And active users, we can show you both the users and the services. So those reports are the same, no real change there. We've just organized them differently so that they're all underneath this one area. Much the same with the subscription center. We have a couple of reports here that are combined together. This would be your active subscription. This is analogous to the old subscription overview report. This is going to give you the price per units, what's available, the active units, what's been consumed, the warning units, etc. You can go in and manage the prices. If you need to change the prices, you can come in and do that through this vehicle here. And same mechanics. Going to step you through which do you want to change, and it's just going to walk you right through the process to make those respective changes. One thing that's missing that I noticed is, I think it's in, let me go back to my view here. I think it's in this subscription list report where you can actually see a graphic on how much is left of a particular, what your percentage deployed was. I don't see that in any of these current fields, but you do have remaining units, and you do have some other ways to highlight when you're getting low on licenses. Excuse me. I have a number of my customers that actually were keying off of some of those things to alert them when they were in certain situations with licenses. So just remember that you could come use this remaining units as a filter to do that same thing. Any questions on these first 3? Again, not a lot changed. Really, it's more of an organizational thing as we put things together. The one exception to that comment that things are really pretty much the same is this optimization center report. So what we have done here, and I do want to surface this because I want this to be exactly what the product team said here. So I want to put this up. So with the optimization center, there's now an underlying concept in CoreView of primary license, and those primary licenses are what we're listing out here. So what this optimization center is doing is, as opposed to looking at the entire population of licenses in the tenant, not all of that is relevant from an optimization and usage standpoint. There's free licenses. There are Visio and project licenses that don't span the entire enterprise. There's license SKUs that impact inactive and unassigned licenses that don't really have a material dollar impact. And so what we've done is we've introduced this concept of a primary license. And where that becomes important is when we look at this license optimization. So what you see in this disabled license user report is going to be different than what you see in this disabled license user report here. This metric, if I look, is just those people who are inactive with those major SKUs. If I fold this back and I look at disabled license users, you'll see there's more than the 40 that were listed, but this is all license SKU, like this Microsoft Teams phone resources account. Okay, so that's the difference between those two, and that's kind of where some of these numbers. So just remember, when you're looking at this optimization report, it is focused on those major SKUs. It's not necessarily going to tie to some of these other reports that are a broad spectrum across the entire population. So that's what you're seeing here is just disabled licenses for those users who have some of these major SKUs. The same with these inactive objects. This is currently set at 90 days. So this is showing me that of the folks who have some of those major SKUs, over the last 90 days, we have this population that has been inactive across all of those major SKUs. It's labeled oversized licenses. Frankly, I've put in a request to change this, because what it really is duplicate licenses. This is showing you there's an E5 here, an E and an E5 assigned here. So this is really, it's not oversized, it's really more duplicate plans or duplicate licenses. So that's what you see in this report here. And this is your population. This is every object in the tenant. So it says users, again, it's objects, it's things that aren't necessarily users, service accounts, etc. Any questions on the top part of the optimization report?
Mike, it's not on the top part of it, but there was a question in the chat about, will there be any issues with existing alerts or notifications with this new user experience?
It's my understanding, no. But I think, Alexandria, it's probably behooves both of us to pose that question, but it's my understanding it should not.
That is my understanding as well. We've got Amber checking with product just to confirm since we're on the call. So we'll post in the chat as well to follow up with that. But I wanted to put it out there for everyone. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay. So we have these two dashboards here. Here again comes our concept of snapshots. What this is looking at, it's looking at the spend trend, and spend is, this is opportunity cost probably more than anything else. But what you're looking at is the number of over the course of these 3 periods. Of course, we've chosen 3 months. We're looking at what is the count of inactive licenses. So we can see we brought the number down considerably. So we're trending in the right direction. This little button right here, the pencil, is what will let you edit what you want to show here. So this could be, here's the different time periods we could look at, and here are the different metrics we could surface in this chart to analyze that particular trend. So the little pencil will be how you control what's presented here. Very, very much the same here. This is looking at by number. This is looking at 2 different periods. So here's where the snapshots come into play again. And it's the thought is to give you a picture of, if you start on a license reclamation project or something along those lines to improve your spend on licensing, it helps to know where you started with and are you making progress. And that's the thought behind these two, the ability to look at the snapshots. And same concept, you click on the pencil, I can change what I'm displaying here. Is it just the dollar or percentage? And which 2 months am I going to want to look at? When we slide down here to the bottom, this is a report that's actually was fairly new in the old UX called savings opportunities. One thing that's notable here is, notice it is license pools. So in order for this savings opportunities dashboard to function, it needs license pools. So even if you aren't using license pools, I would suggest you pick a metric and set up license pools just so this report will work correctly for you. Because what this report is designed to do is by these pools, however you want to break the tenant apart and make this association, we're giving you the count of objects in that particular area, the number of folks or objects that do not have a license, the number that do. Let me get down to my scroll bar at the bottom here. And I can show you other things like, how many of those are disabled, how many are active, how many are oversized. So the thought is allowing you to zero right in on the 2 people that you might want to take action on, and they're right here associated with that particular report. So again, great report. I use it all the time when I'm looking at customers' data or prospects' data, but just remember that license pools do have to be set up in order for this report to function correctly. Right, and you do have the ability to change your display and actually look at multiple months as part of this savings opportunity. Questions on any of that? Yeah. Okay. So last but not least, we have these last 3 reports, and these last 3 reports here are basically just one for one with what was in the previous the old UX. So users without a license has just been rebuilt and in this particular report and stands on its own. You have your actions area over here, your ability to add your columns, and again, note that the pivot function is right here in the front. Disabled license users is the same thing. Again, remember the context. This is slightly different in the sense that this is every single license in the tenant and not just the major SKUs. But other than that, the format is exactly the same as the previous report. When we look at license history, again, the same report, same columns. It's all available for you here. Again, you've got the same kind of layout. Pivots and columns are right here up front, but it's the same context and the same columns is part of that previously existed. Now, what in doing my homework to kind of get prepared for this, because this is new for all of us, I in order to prepare for this, I had to go through and actually look at each one of these and ask questions and start to figure out where things are. I noticed that if you look here, and here's my sophisticated cheat sheet, but all of these that's scratched out are things that are covered in the new UX in those various reports that we just looked at. The exception are these 2 things right here. So I asked the question of the product team, are those coming or are those available? And essentially, if you go into the license pool center report and you look at actually this one, if you look at active users, this is what you can actually use the active users report and filter to get those see what service plans are effective. But in asking that question, it came up that both there's going to be an enhanced version of the service usage report and an enhanced version of the old license optimization report. Both are coming and will be part of this license area. They're just not in here now. So the list of reports is evolving slightly, but what you see in this content now is probably 90% of what will be there ultimately. But Alexandria, that's kind of where we wanted to go today. There wasn't a whole lot of new things in here other than that one concept of the preferred license or the primary license concept. Are there questions? Are there other places we could add, things you might want to know about the new user interface? I could try to answer those too.
We also have 2 workshops coming up. I believe one's next week and then one's in early November that'll be around that core concept of the new UX and things around there. If you haven't gotten an invite, please talk to your CSM. Everyone is welcomed to join that, including operators if you'd like. But we want to make sure that we have plenty of opportunities for us to share with you the new UX as well as for you guys to ask questions.
So just, Alexandria, is it okay if I take a few minutes and just kind of run through kind of what's here and what's new?
Sure.
Yeah, so here's your dashboards are the same, right? You're going to have your content dashboards listed up here. Your reports are going to be listed out here. And again, they're going to be focused around, license reports. And we've done the same thing in some of these other, you've got your breadcrumbs so that you can always get back to where you need to be, which again was kind of frustrating in the old UX. Down here, we're taking the idea of custom dashboards and KPIs. We're taking that a step further and introducing a concept of playbooks. And if we look at playbooks here, playbooks are essentially going to be, there's no data in my demo system here, but essentially playbooks are going to identify very simple, straightforward issues that most tenants have, like teams, groups with no owners. We're gonna have a playbook that surfaces that data and has a workflow behind it that goes and takes care of that particular object. So playbooks are more, they're a step beyond the old KPIs and custom dashboards in the sense that they are going to include the workflow on the back end to go take care of some of these things. So again, playbooks are a very interesting concept that moving forward. I think the teams management is out of the box currently, and there will be more coming. But actually, we've done the teams management, that's been released. What is coming is next is a kit, if you will, to build your own playbooks, because we all realize that all of you customers have your own metrics that you're looking at. So once we introduce the concept, we want to give you the ability to go do your own, and then there's more that we're going to have that'll come out of the box. So this is the reporting side of playbooks, and then setting up the playbooks themselves. This is what used to be the old right side menu. So here is, how you set up playbooks, operators, virtual tenants, permissions, all of that stuff is over here now, part of this settings page. So that's just a quick tour. This looks very similar to the old management tab, if you will. And here's the audit is all listed out here. So as opposed to tabs, we've now gone into this list style report and condensed things to make it easier for the delegated admins that are in the product every day. So at least that's a quick rundown for you.
Any questions from anybody on the call?
Have any of you played with the new user interface?
Hold on, Mike. Tim, go
Okay.
ahead and ask your question.
Somebody had asked about the alerts migrating over, and we have some set up, but I haven't been able to find them in the new interface. Can you show us where that's at?
Has that been released yet, Alex? Alexander, do you know?
I'm not sure, but I can check real quick.
Let me see. Yeah, I don't see alerts in the audit area, so it may not be released yet.
Okay, great. So
But I tell you what, well, Tim, let Alexandria and I run the traps on that and get back to you. But I don't think that's been released yet, because I don't see it where I would suspect to see it.
Thank you for checking.
Anything
I've got a
else,
note
y'all?
out Tim right now, so as soon as I get it, I will post in the chat for everybody.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you for your time.
Thanks everybody for the time. We'll go ahead and wrap up early for that one. And like I said, just a reminder, next week we will go over the entire new UX. Matt, another one of our CSMs, will be running us through that one, so you'll get a different perspective on it, because obviously we all view it a little bit differently. As well as in November, we'll have another core concept on the new UX, and then a more technical dive next week, or sorry, in November as well going forward. There will be no direct Wednesday workshop in November because of all these, and then we're going to take December off as well just because of the holidays. So the next official engineering workshop will take place in January, and we'll have invites out for that shortly. And Tim, Products has just told us they'll be released in the next, yep, it looks like they'll be released in the next release, which should be next Tuesday. I'm sorry, 2 Tuesdays from now.
Okay, great. I'll look for them.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one, guys.